am I not allowed to smoke? Did you know that smoking has a benefit? Yes, you heard me right. Smoking has a benefit. And we will sit down for a moment to discuss the benefit of smoking. So let's discuss this for a moment. Let's sit down and check what are the benefits of smoking. According to the research in Australia, smoking would help or have health benefits. Say for example, the ulcerative colitis, which has the inflammatory of the colon lining. They said that if you are a smoker, you have the less tendency of getting such disease. Another, Parkinson's disease. It only means that smokers have less tendency of getting the Parkinson's disease. What are other diseases? Endometrial cancer and uterine fibroids. Another, preeclampsia or hypertension in pregnancy. Another, cognitive performance. Did you know that smokers are more brilliant than the rest? Income. If it is beneficial in the body, why then the government says ang paninigarilyo ay sanhi ng pagkasira ng ngipin?
Why?
And what's the very reason behind this symbol? Did you know that smoking, you have to spend so much money just to fulfill that desire? Look how easy it is to buy a cigarette in the Philippines. Come on. I am here in Isabel Leyte, San Roque. Shall we try? So this is the Winston Strong Taste. Which one would you like? Winston or Marlboro? Ayo! Teo sa ikon nyo. Anong barato nga sigarilyo? Isa lang kabok, be? Eh, si Winston, mahal na pa ba? Una kay, kapapal, mga ilang bukog kahati, be? May panglabay nga kahati. Mga na, ang kabito, Mighty. Okay, Mighty, kasi mas barato sa Mighty. Nagpila ng Winston, ganito? Si Winston is 7 pesos. Bigyan may mga Winston, dagko man sa una. Salamat. Ay, nagpila yung lighter. Tapos pero tapos balikan natin. Puspuro, 3 pesos. Winston, 7 pesos. You have to spend 10 pesos just to smoke in the Philippines. Well, every person has a right to freedom, including smoking, as stated in the Constitution of 1987. It is stated in Section 11, Article 2. So, it is actually the right of every person to smoke. But there's a regulation where should a person should smoke. Yes, and even in the Philippines, there are sanctions such as at 10,000 pesos if you will be found smoking in the public places. That's the law that I observed in the Philippines. When I was there, I've seen how these people are doing. Even though there is a regulation act in the Philippines with regards to smoking, that doesn't mean that we have to stop everyone from smoking. That's the right of every individual to smoke. In our study with Agrida, we found out that anti-smoking campaigns are effective methods to discourage students to smoke. And parents and guardians play a vital role in the implementation and ordinances regarding with the advocacy of anti-smoking. So local government units should have to regulate the implementation of the policies and ordinances regarding this smoking among the minors, especially those who are in studies in high school. So anti-smoking campaigns and messages should be could be excellent avenue to educate our children about ordinances and laws and the effects of smoking in our health. We should inform our kids about this. Most experts believe that usage or cigarette usage decreased in the recent decades due to the increasing strict marketing regulations and prohibitions given by private sectors as well as of the government. Such efforts is not only educating the public but also it helps them to fully understand that cigarette smoking is dangerous to health. But in contrast, unregulated marketing of e-cigarette, the vapors, which is the alternative for cigarettes, grows rapidly in the recent years. And it has been argued that millions of people are currently addicted to vaping because of its marketing is unregulated and there is no law that pertains to it, including over 5 million teenagers as stated by the Journal of the American Medical Association 2019. So crucially, research from the Pew Research Center demonstrates how the growth of e-cigarette products during the last 10 years, it was a huge number. This transpired even though that the dangers of nicotine addiction and other health consequences caused by e-cigarettes have a long-term effect in the life of man, and even though it's very obvious that cigarette doesn't really help every individual with regards to health, especially this youth that we have now. So I think we have to revisit once again not only the prohibitions and the regulations about cigarette smoking, but as well as the vaping industry. We have also to make a regulations on it, since the effect of vaping and cigarettes or tobacco are the same. Here in India, we have some regulations since 1975 with regards to smoking. And you know what? The Cigarette Act of 1975 is the very beginning of our goal towards a smoke-free country of India. Unfortunately, out of 1.1 billion smokers all over the world, 185 million or 16.6 of these smokers are living in India. It is in 2004, they estimated that there are around 160 million Indian who was really addicted, and there are many died about cigarette smoking. So there is a strong regulations, there are strong urge from the government to regulate really the selling and all of this product, the cigarette smoking, the tobacco industry. There is tobacco control legislation in India that is back in 1975, but it was not enough. We have to require that there should be a warnings on advertisement in cartons and cigarette packages. So the act does not only contain specific restriction for trading, but also it also mentioned about commercialization practices regarding production, the supply, the distribution, and even the commercialization. So we in India are making every effort to make sure that our regulation on tobacco will be concentrated. The Act had provisions also to contain the liberal use of tobacco. The Act also made a mandatory registration of growers of Virginia tobacco and other such. We do hope this Act would also help to regulate the using of tobacco cigarette. That's our desire. But of course, we cannot stop them. We can never stop them. What is Tobacco Regulation Act 2003? Or also known as the Republic Act 9211. This is an omnibus law regulating smoking in public places, tobacco advertising, promotion, and sponsorship, and sales restrictions, among other requirements. So this law is very important, especially in protecting our children. So what are the details and what are the summary, or what is the very content of such law? Number one of it is a smoke-free places. Smokers are not allowed to smoke in public places. Smoking is prohibited in enumerated indoor public places and workplaces such as government facilities, healthcare facilities, educational institutions, and facilities frequented by minors, while designated smoke areas are allowed in other public places and workplaces such as night bars, nightclubs. But smoking is prohibited in public land transport, aircraft, public transport terminals, and any other places. In Davao City, there is a designated place where smokers can smoke. Another thing is tobacco advertising, promotion, and sponsorship. So many forms of tobacco advertising and promotion are prohibited. Though tobacco advertising and promotion at points of sale and free distribution of tobacco products, among other promotional activities, are allowed. So there are some restrictions on tobacco sponsorship and the publicity of such sponsorship, including the labeling. I mentioned a while ago with regards to the labeling of the packaging of tobacco. So it is stipulated in such act that health warnings are required to be placed 50% of each of the principal display areas of tobacco product packaging. Have you observed? It is half of it. Half of the name of the cigarette is designated for the government warning. This is the very reason why the packaging of cigarettes have 50% of the government warning. Say for example this one, smoking causes damaged teeth. So this is one of the regulations. So this only shows us that labeling and packaging of tobacco has also been regulated. Therefore, they have to make sure that the packaging should indicate 50% of its label goes to the government warning towards the usage of cigarettes. Cigarette contents and exclusion. The law does not grant the authority to regulate the contents of cigarettes. So the law does not require that manufacturers and importers disclose to government authorities information on the contents and emission of their products. But again, going back to the study of Hicks, we have to understand that there are 72 carcinogens that have been found in the cigarette smoke. That's why the proposal of the research of Hicks mentioned that even the content of such cigarette should be regulated. Another aspect on the Regulations Act 2003, it also mentioned the sales restrictions. The law prohibits the sale of small packets of cigarettes and the sale of tobacco products within 100 meters of schools, playgrounds, and other facilities frequented by minors. Even though there are restrictions with regards to sales in the places close to where minors frequented, but we cannot deny the fact and the study in Iloilo High School that there are teens going out from the school premises looking for an opportunity to smoke, which is very common not only in Iloilo area but also in other parts of the country. Having said all of that, it's always up to us how would we respond to such regulations. Having heard all the Regulations Act from US, from Food and Drug Administration, from India Regulations Act, and all the act, even the Philippine Tobacco Regulations Act 2003, gives us details about this tobacco consumption. But will this act stop the smokers to smoke? Of course not. We always have the choice what to do. But at least the government is doing something just to regulate and to protect its citizens from the harmful effect of cigarette smoking. I do hope this simple presentation will lead us to a higher understanding that yes, we have freedom. Yes, we have freedom to smoke or not to smoke, but such freedom have also obligations that we have to take to ourselves. And that's all.